All right, let's jump right in. If you're a founder, you know this feeling. You've built your amazing product, and now you're facing the single biggest challenge. How on earth do you get anyone to actually notice it?
I mean, this is the question that keeps us all up at night, right? You pour your heart and soul into creating something, you finally hit that launch button, and then crickets. The fear is so real. You built it, but what if nobody comes?
Well, today, we're going to turn that anxiety into an actual strategy. I want you to think of this as the founder's quest for visibility. The internet, it's this huge chaotic map, but if you know how to read it, you can find the exact paths that lead your very first users right to your front door.
And the secret to reading this map? It all comes down to a metric called domain authority, or DA for short. Look, it's just a simple score from 1 to 100. It basically tells you how powerful a website is in the eyes of a search engine. The higher the DA, the more a mention on that site helps you. This is the absolute foundation of everything we're about to cover.
So where do we even begin? Level 1 of our quest is all about the titans. We're talking about the giants of the internet. These are platforms with so much authority that getting just a single, simple listing can give your startup an immediate and seriously powerful boost.
We start with a perfect score, 100. You know who that is? Your Google business profile. This is an absolute non-negotiable. Seriously, getting listed here is like putting your business on the busiest intersection of the entire internet, especially if you have any kind of local angle. It's super low effort for maximum impact.
Next up, a 95. That's the domain authority for Reddit. And let me tell you, communities like r/entrepreneur, they are absolute powerhouses. These are not just forums, they are super concentrated hubs of your potential first customers, your future partners, and your biggest fans. Being there means plugging directly into the conversation.
And then, we've got a 93. This score belongs to media titans like TechCrunch. For so many startups, getting a mention here is the ultimate dream. And it's not just about the traffic, it's about instant credibility. It's a signal to the rest of the world that you're a serious player and people should pay attention.
Okay, so once we've planted our flag on a few of the Titan platforms, we move on to level 2, finding your perfect niche. This is where we shift our focus from just broad authority to laser-focused relevance. We're going to find the exact digital corners where your ideal customers are already hanging out, actively looking for a solution just like yours. So let's say you're building a B2B SaaS tool. You have to ask yourself when a business is actually ready to buy, where do they go to make that decision?
They go to trusted review platforms, right? Places like G2, Capterra, Finances Online. And look at those high DA scores. That authority comes from the fact that these aren't just lists, they are where businesses make huge purchasing decisions. Being on these sites puts you directly in the running when it matters most.
Okay, but what if you're on the cutting edge? What if you're building the next big AI tool? The audience for AI is super hungry for the latest and greatest stuff, but you have to know where they're looking.
They are glued to directories built just for them. Places like Futurepedia, there's an AI for that, AI library. These are the new town squares for the entire AI space. Getting listed here puts you right in front of a huge audience of early adopters who are actively trying to find new tools.
And what about developers? They're maybe one of the toughest, but also most loyal audiences you can win over. They don't fall for normal marketing. They trust platforms that are built by and for their own community.
So you have to meet them on their home turf. We're talking about platforms like GitLab and CodePen, where they literally live and breathe code. And a site like StackShare, that's where they go to see what tools the best companies are using. Being featured there is a massive form of social proof.
And for all you creative entrepreneurs out there, the designers, the artists, your product is visual. So where do you go to get seen by a global community that really appreciates incredible design? You go to the visual titans, Behance, Dribbble, and ArtStation. And trust me, these are so much more than just portfolio sites. They are enormous creative networks, each with incredible authority. A project that takes off here could get you noticed by creative directors at the biggest companies in the world.
All right, now for the final and honestly the most powerful level of this whole quest. We've built authority with the titans, we've found qualified leads in our niches. Level 3 is about building something way more valuable. Trust and loyalty. This is where we stop just submitting links and start having real conversations. Think about places like indie hackers or really specific subreddits or even private Slack and Discord groups. The game here is totally different. The goal isn't a backlink, it's a relationship. You don't just drop your link and run. You show up, day after day. You answer questions. You share what's not working just as much as what is. You become a valued member of the community first and the founder second. Yep, this kind of growth is slower, but it builds a foundation of true fans that is almost impossible for anyone else to copy.
So let's just pull this all together for a second. This whole strategy really has 3 different levels, and each one plays a different role. The Titans, that's your low-effort play to get some broad SEO authority. The niches, that takes a bit more work, but they deliver really qualified leads. And the communities, that's the highest effort for sure, but the payoff is huge. A truly engaged audience that's built on trust and loyalty.
So, what do you actually do with all this? Let's distill this entire quest down into a super simple, actionable blueprint that you can start using literally the second this is over.
Here it is, just 3 simple steps. First, claim your Titans. Go spend an afternoon getting listed on 2 or 3 of those big, high-authority sites. Second, occupy your niche. Find 3 or 4 directories that are super specific to your industry and get your product submitted. And finally, third, engage your community. Just pick 1 or 2 key communities and really commit to being a helpful, active member. That's it. That is the path from being unknown to being unmissable.
And I want to leave you with this one last thought. The biggest mistake founders make is thinking of this as just a checklist. You submit your links and you're done. But the real secret is this: lasting visibility isn't a one-time submission. It's an ongoing conversation with the people who need you the most. Now go start that conversation.